might seem like an unassuming snack, but the truth behind how they're produced at such staggering volumes is more astonishing than most people realize. Every day, millions of crisp cucumbers roll through massive facilities around the globe, getting washed, sorted, and submerged in secret brine recipes to create that irresistible tang so many crave. At first glance, it's a straightforward process. Grow cucumbers, pickle them, and send them to market. But beneath that surface, an intricate network of cutting-edge farming methods, industrial-scale operations, and simmering controversies has turned the pickle industry into a hotbed of speculation and debate. It all starts in sprawling fields where the seeds of our beloved cucumbers are carefully planted. Many farms use advanced seeding machines that place each seed at a precise depth, optimizing growth and yield. Some rumors suggest that certain large corporations control these specialized seeds, dictating which varieties make it to the fields. Others point to genetically modified strains that supposedly resist pests or mature faster, raising concerns about who truly owns the future of cucumber farming. Critics argue that local farmers struggle under contracts that bind them to using only certain seeds, while corporate representatives insist that such measures ensure consistent quality and robust disease resistance. However, seeds are only the beginning. Once planted, cucumbers rely on careful monitoring to thrive, and bees are often brought in for pollination. In many places, beekeepers partner directly with farmers, placing hives near the blooming cucumber plants so the insects can naturally boost production. While this cooperative setup seems idyllic, environmental advocates worry about pesticide use that might harm these essential pollinators. Some suggest that behind glossy promotional campaigns, a few large-scale operations may push pesticide limits in a quest for higher profits, even if that means risking the health of their bee populations. Official statements typically deny such claims, yet rumors persist, fueling suspicion among skeptics who say short-term gain often wins out over sustainability. When the cucumbers reach just the right size, firm, green, and brimming with potential, it's time for the harvest. This is where the scale of industrial farming truly becomes clear. Vast teams of workers fan out across fields, or sometimes massive machines rumble through rows to pluck the cucumbers at a furious pace. On one hand, these mechanical harvesters are marvels of engineering, designed to minimize crop damage and expedite the entire operation. On the other hand, labor advocates question whether automation threatens jobs or overlooks fair working conditions for seasonal employees. There have been whispers that certain farms lean heavily on cheap labor or even skirt regulations to meet the unyielding demand of big companies. Official audits often refute these accusations, yet the stories refuse to vanish, leaving viewers to wonder what sacrifices are made in the race to deliver so many cucumbers. Once harvested, truckloads of cucumbers head to processing plants. Here, an initial sorting occurs, with thousands of fresh cucumbers tumbling onto conveyor belts under the watchful eyes of workers, or sometimes sophisticated sensor-driven machines. Speed is paramount, and any subpar cucumbers are quickly removed. Yet there's another point of controversy. How perfect must a cucumber be to make the cut? Some processors have been accused of discarding heaps of otherwise edible cucumbers simply because they don't meet a strict aesthetic standard. Too curved, too stubby, or slightly discolored. While official corporate spokespeople claim these discards are either composted or repurposed, skeptics question if profit margins trump efforts to reduce food waste. But the real magic and mystery unfolds during brining. Picture vast vats of liquid, each holding thousands of cucumbers submerged in tangy solutions. This is the heart of the pickle-making process, where flavor is locked in, shapes and textures are preserved, and those signature sour notes take form. Most brine solutions include water, salt, and vinegar, but each facility guards its own exact recipe. Rumors abound that some factories add chemical agents to speed up fermentation, ensuring cucumbers pickle in days rather than weeks. Others talk of potential shortcuts where certain producers artificially color or flavor the brine for a consistent product, raising eyebrows among purists who insist that authentic pickling requires patience, natural fermentation, and minimal tampering. Such secrecy extends to how plants dispose of or recycle leftover brine. Because these solutions are highly acidic and salty, improper handling can wreak havoc on local ecosystems. Environmental groups warn that if a facility cuts corners, brine-tainted water might seep into nearby streams or groundwater, harming marine life or even affecting farmland in the region. Though official environmental impact reports often come up clean, scattered anecdotes from local residents paint a different picture. Strange algae blooms in waterways, wilted vegetation, or suspicious chemical smells near factory sites. These stories remain largely anecdotal, yet they persist, leaving the public to wonder if there's more to the story than corporate press releases admit. Once the cucumbers have transformed into pickles, the next step is packaging. Conveyor belts whir as jars clink along in perfectly synchronized lines. Automated arms fill containers with pickles, brine, and a mixture of spices that might include dill, garlic, or chili flakes, depending on the brand's hallmark flavor. Lids are sealed tightly to keep out contaminants, and the jars then move past labelers that apply brand logos and bright designs. At full capacity, some plants can churn out thousands of jars per hour, sending them off to distribution centers that ship all over the world. Critics argue that in this high-speed environment, there's a chance some jars could be mislabeled or not fully sterilized. While food safety regulations are supposed to prevent such mistakes, occasional recalls crop up in the news, adding fuel to the speculation that not everything is as smooth as it appears behind the scenes. The sheer volume of production is mind-boggling, and it's driven in part by intense competition among major pickle-producing nations. China's prowess in cucumber cultivation is often highlighted. They reportedly grow and process millions upon millions of tons each year. The United States, India, and parts of Europe also host large factories, each region vying for a bigger slice of the global pickle market. Some watchers have gone so far as to coin the phrase "pickle wars," pointing to how countries occasionally slap tariffs on agricultural goods or accuse rivals of dumping produce to manipulate prices. Whether or not these tensions truly amount to a trade war, it's clear that pickles are big business, and national pride can play a role in who ends up leading the pack. In the midst of all this competition, there's also a fascination with the possible health benefits and drawbacks of indulging in pickles. Certain enthusiasts swear by them for gut health, citing probiotic cultures that form during fermentation, especially in fresh, unpasteurized varieties. Others caution that store-bought brands often contain too much sodium. Frequent consumption might push you beyond recommended salt intake levels, potentially raising blood pressure or causing bloating. Meanwhile, some claim that pickle juice helps with muscle cramps or dehydration, an assertion that remains more anecdotal than scientifically proven, yet continues to gain traction among athletes. It's clear that the truth lies somewhere in the middle, a nuanced mix of tangible benefits and potential drawbacks that depends on each person's health profile and the specific product they're consuming. Beyond the health debates, pickles have taken on a pop culture life of their own. Social media challenges featuring pickleback shots, where a shot of whiskey is chased with pickle brine, have become viral sensations. Celebrities jump on the pickle bandwagon, sometimes endorsing boutique brands that boast artisanal spices or organic farming methods. Spicy pickle chips, pickle-flavored candy canes, and even pickle-scented lip balm have appeared on store shelves, feeding a steadily growing appetite for everything briny. In some circles, pickles are no longer just a garnish. They've become a cultural statement, reflecting a love for tangy tastes and culinary experimentation. Meanwhile, smaller artisanal pickle makers have found a niche market among foodies searching for more natural or novel brines. These cottage industries often pride themselves on transparency, touting hand-picked cucumbers, minimal processing, and sustainable packaging. Their supporters argue that local, carefully curated pickles offer superior taste and fewer questionable additives. That said, scaling up such artisanal operations can be challenging. The big corporate players dominate distribution networks and can undercut smaller producers on price. Some conspiracy-minded observers claim these big companies try to acquire successful small brands to snuff out new competition. Though official statements from major corporations usually frame acquisitions as a way to expand consumer choice, behind the glitz of big brands and the charm of artisanal shops a quiet revolution could be brewing in agricultural science. Researchers are exploring the potential for genetically modified cucumbers that resist disease, require fewer pesticides, and produce consistent yields. Others are looking into vertical farming, stacking rows of cucumber plants indoors under controlled LED lighting. Such methods could revolutionize year-round production, freeing farmers from dependence on weather or seasonal cycles. But as always, new technology invites questions. Will biotech cucumbers lose the traditional taste that many pickle enthusiasts crave? Might these techniques be prohibitively expensive, shutting out smaller farms and favoring giant corporations even more? Then there's the murkier realm of rumored corporate espionage, where brine recipes and trade secrets are fiercely guarded. Some claim that clandestine lab tests are conducted to replicate a rival's signature flavor, all to gain market advantage. In a food sector as old as agriculture itself, it's surprising how the stakes have escalated in modern times. Yet the market for pickled cucumbers is global, the consumer base is enormous, and brand loyalty can mean the difference between raking in millions or languishing on grocery store shelves. So it's not entirely far-fetched that big names in the pickle world might guard their methods as closely as top tech firms protect their software code. For the average pickle fan, these controversies and mysteries might feel worlds away. But the moment you unscrew a jar and take a crisp, tangy bite, you're tasting the outcome of a vast network of decisions. Some purely scientific, some possibly profit-driven, and some shaped by local and global politics. The product that lands on your plate is both ancient and modern, simple at a glance, yet backed by advanced technology. That duality is precisely what makes the story of pickles so compelling. They're both a nostalgic comfort food and a frontier of agricultural innovation. Even with all this background, the pickle saga is far from finished. New brining methods might emerge, some rumored to use fermentation accelerants that shorten aging from weeks to just a few days. Others might experiment with exotic spices like cardamom, dried fruits, or smoky peppers to create flavors that push boundaries. There's also chatter about so-called extreme pickling, where producers strive for the sourest, spiciest, or most bizarre brines to catch viral attention online. Every year brings a fresh wave of creative ideas, ensuring that the pickle landscape evolves right alongside broader culinary trends. As for the future, it might lead to jar labels that list engineered cucumber, grown in controlled labs to ensure consistent texture and a near 100% yield. Alternatively, a growing consumer preference for authenticity could reignite older, slower fermentation techniques, giving rise to a new golden age of craft pickles. The only certainty is that the global appetite shows no signs of dwindling. Whether tossed on a burger, sliced into a sandwich, or enjoyed straight from the jar, pickles tap into a universal craving for tangy, satisfying bites. So the next time you reach for a jar, remember there's more in that brine than just cucumbers, salt, and vinegar. It's the product of intense research, worldwide logistical feats, environmental and labor disputes, and age-old rivalries. The very act of pickling connects us to the ancient past while hinting at a high-tech future. Who knew that something so simple could hold so many stories within each crunchy bite? Yet that's precisely the magic of pickles, a humble food with a surprisingly grand narrative. And narrative.